Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show with me, Kavita Thapliyal. Now, recently, capital market regulators, SEBI issued Cybersecurity and Cyber Resilience framework for portfolio managers with an AUM of Rs 3,000 crore or more. To understand more about these guidelines and how they will impact portfolio managers, let's bring on board Gautam Kalia, Senior Vice President and Head Super Investor at Sharekhan by BNP Paribas, Ritesh, Bhatia, Cybercrime Investigator, and V for Cybersecurity founder. Good evening and welcome both of you. So, Gautam, I'm going to start with you because we really need to understand this framework that the regulator has set for PMS fund managers. What exactly do they mean by having a stronger and much more resilient cyber framework?
Yeah, sure, Kavita. So basically, in about March 2021, the regulator came out with a BCP plan circular, making sure that business continuity should be managed during different events. So, for example, if there's a terrorist attack or an earthquake. So now cyber security is also becoming extremely important. There's if you just look at statistics around cyber security, there are some estimates suggest that there are like 10 to 20 attacks per second worldwide, or the cost is in the hundreds of billions when it comes to, let's say, ransomware attacks. So there's a lot to do with data security and data privacy. So that's where the regulator is stepping in and making sure that large PMS providers who have more than 3,000 crores do have a plan in place to prevent such attacks. And if, let's say, they do become the victim of such an attack, they have plan B and contingencies in place to address that and make sure that the system still continues to support the investors. And that's really the core job of the regulators. So I think it's fantastic that the regulators taking this step and making sure that they are making the entire system in India robust through this framework.
And also, SEBI has laid down timelines to notify cyber attacks and has also asked portfolio managers to submit quarterly reports on that also. So that's really an active charge on this matter. But then, Ritesh, to understand what's currently happening, what all can you tell us? Because it's not that we're not just talking about the PMS fund managers or those AMCs, of more than Rs 3,000 crore AUM. But then what about the current status of AMCs and having a robust cybersecurity infra for their investors?
Yeah, so thanks, Kavita, for having me on the show. Kavita, I think overall, if you look at the BFSI sector and including the insurance and AMCs and securities, banks, everybody, the structure is quite robust. The issue is actually at the third parties end because, I'm on the technology committee of several AMCs and other BFSI companies. And I really see that a lot of emphasis is given on data protection and data privacy both. But if you look at, when it is being outsourced to those third parties, now the third parties are the biggest risk. Few days back, you must have read in the news that, so much of data, like almost half the population of the countries, there's been a data theft. Now, why is the data theft? Because there was so much of data, especially from the BFSI sector, which is like generally outsourced to the third parties. And from there, it has been sold as such. So even if we look at the SEBI's policies right now also, it talks about encouraging these third parties also to have a very robust framework. So overall, if you ask me, yes, these AMCs and other people in the BFSI sector, I think the infrastructure is robust. And I must also thank like these regulators, such as SEBI, RBI and all, who actually keep a good watch on these things. And this is not just one, they have, there are several such circulars and it's been there since quite a long. And even if you see this one, which came on the 29th March, it has got like 55 controls it is talking about. And, some of them are pretty good, like, focus more on awareness on the non-tech employees. Now, that was my personal favorite because generally we talk about, just having an awareness session for everyone. But here we are seeing the risks, what are there. Secondly, what I really liked over here is that now SEBI is trying to say that, listen, some of your assets, you need to identify them and need to call them as a protected system, which means now these AMCs, certain assets of AMCs will become a part of the critical infrastructure. And because of that, they'll have to put a lot many controls, and the security is only going to get better. Kavita.
Exactly. Gautam, taking what Ritesh only said ahead, do you think this will also come on the other AMCs right now? We're just talking about PMS, but then what about the rest of them?
Yes, I think it's only a matter of time. So a lot of distributors and referral partners of AMCs and PMS providers, manufacturers, they already have a due diligence process where they ask such questions of these providers. So it's going to be pressure from all sides, you know. So for example, at Sharekhan also we only partner with people who kind of meet certain criteria, and those criteria include such. Commitments and such tight policies around the BCP as well as cybersecurity. So it's just a matter of time before everyone has to step their game up and make sure that they are prepared for this, because you can't have an excuse. Let's say when it comes to investments, that we were attacked and there's a ransomware, so suddenly you can't access your money. So obviously those kind of issues. No one wants to deal with, or no one wants to have their clients exposed to that kind of risk.
Exactly. Even though, Ritesh, you mentioned that our AMCs have a robust cybersecurity framework already installed, how can an investor still be sure that wherever they are transacting online, especially, they are well within their controls and will not fall prey to any sort of cyber hacks or anything where they can become a victim of these frauds?
Users and they just bookmark these AMCs where they are investing. So suppose if they're doing it through Sharekhan, just for example, because the co-panel is from Sharekhan, then you have the website bookmarked, because tomorrow there can be like a spoof website of Sharekhan, and there you go, enter your credentials, and using those credentials, then he will actually go to the main Sharekhan website and try to do all those things. So probably it is the same old thing that that please verify whatever you're getting. So even if it's an email, where it says, okay, it looks like your account has been breached, please like click over here to enter. I think investors should go and verify it. Everything will boil down to like verification. This is the only tool that they need, and they need to download it in their minds. And other thing is, like, if you have any particular grievance, don't just trust like what you see over there. I mean, if what your search engine shows you, it is quite possible that the numbers that are coming over there of the customer care and all, they can be wrong. So at that point of time, it's important you go to the actual website and speak to the right person through the contact us page. Kavita.
Ritesh, what if you're a victim? What all can be done?
Oh, well, if you're a victim, the first thing I think is immediately call up 193. So that's the most important thing. Don't delete an evidence. That is another thing, because most of the times victims delete and then they say, okay, we don't have any evidence left. So call up 1930, file an official complaint on the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal, which is www.cybercrime.gov.in. That particular complaint will go to a particular police station, and then you will be called to the police station. And then in case if you think, matters are not being resolved, then you can approach the RBI or the SEBIs, the grievance officers, the nodal officers who are there.
All right. So I think a lot has already been done, but then still there is scope of a lot of things that needs to be done, especially when it comes to the awareness and investor awareness on this particular topic is very important. Thank you so much, Ritesh, for being on the show.